SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
Motorists to pay more for fuel in October, and struggle icon Winnie Mandela receives an Ubuntu award. Good morning. Economists say that South African motorists are set to pay more for fuel in October despite a rapid decline in Brent crude oil prices. The rise in fuel prices is attributed to the rand, which fell almost 7% in the past 2 months. However, economists are also concerned that the higher fuel prices could stoke consumer inflation, which was steady at 5.3% last month. Of more concern is that the higher fuel prices could reduce consumers' disposable income leading up to Christmas. This could have a negative impact on Christmas retail sales. The rand's rally, which started on Friday, has come to an abrupt end. The currency fell as much as 2% against the US dollar in early trade this morning, hit by persistent debt concerns in the Eurozone. Standard Bank's economic unit says that the rand enjoyed some short covering on Friday, but with global sentiment against risk-taking, it doesn't look like the local currency will recover in the medium term. This weekend's IMF and World Bank meetings also failed to provide participants with much to cheer about the EU debt crisis or ease the mounting fears about an impending global recession. In other news, struggle icon Winnie Mandela has been named the recipient of the Ubuntu Award. The award is given to people whose lives epitomize the values of Ubuntu and who promote a just and caring society. Previous recipients include former Cuban President Fidel Castro and Dr. Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. The National Heritage Council says Mandela will receive the award this Friday. The council's Sonwabile Mantlotwa.
She fits all the positive values that underpin Ubuntu practice, which is selflessness, solidarity with the weak, human dignity. You know, she's an amazing character. This is an award where we're calling every South African to embrace these values of Ubuntu.
South African rugby journalist Vartan Gobeni has been detained after New Zealand police removed him from a local pub suspecting he was a drug dealer. Gobeni was taken to a police station where he had to remove items of clothing to be searched. Police officers on the scene say they were following what they called standard procedure and that Ngobeni, according to them, fit the profile for a drug dealer. Ngobeni later received an apology from police but says he won't be visiting New Zealand again. Nobel Peace Laureate and conservationist Professor Wangari Maathai will be remembered for her fight against environmental degradation. 71-year-old Maathai died last night in Nairobi, Kenya, after a long battle with cancer. And to wrap up, young people across the globe have more unprotected sex and know less about effective contraception options. According to the Clueless or Clued Up study, teenagers are too embarrassed to ask healthcare professionals for contraception. The study has sparked concern about the quality of sex education available to youngsters. Teenagers do not receive trustworthy information about sex and contraception, and this increases the spread of myths and misconceptions and unplanned pregnancies. Recapping the top story, economists say that South African motorists are set to pay more for fuel in October despite a rapid decline in Brent crude oil prices. For more news on your mobile phones, go to www.sabcmobile.co.za/news.